9 texting secrets women can't resist, most men never figure out, psychology tricks. People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. Let's be honest, gents. How many times have you fired off the safe opener? Hey, how was your day? And then watched your screen stay as quiet as a library after closing time? An hour drifts by, then two, and eventually a lukewarm, fine, lands like a flat soda. Here's the real issue. Most men text like they're sending a status report, efficient, polite, and completely forgettable. But women don't experience messages that way. For many, texting is a small escape, part rom-com, part curiosity, part emotion. They're looking for a spark, not a spreadsheet. The upside, you don't need to be a stand-up comic or a poet. You just need a few psychology-backed switches most guys never flip. Master these 9 texting secrets and something changes. She won't just reply, she'll anticipate your name lighting up her phone. Secret 1. Never start with, hey. A rule every smart man must tattoo on his texting brain. Never, and I mean never, start a conversation with, hey. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. That little 3-letter word is the fastest way to suck all the mystery, charm, and possibility out of your message. It's like showing up to a first date in sweatpants covered in barbecue stains, or like serving plain toast at a 5-star dinner, cheap, lazy, and utterly forgettable. Hey tells her you're operating on autopilot, like a man who has run out of fuel but still insists on driving. It's bland, boring, and the truth is, she's seen it 1,000 times before from men who never learned the psychology tricks that actually make women curious, intrigued, and open to responding. And here's where female psychology really comes into play. Women don't just want a message, they want a spark, something that makes them feel alive in that tiny moment when their phone buzzes. A lazy hey is like tossing a pebble into the ocean. No splash, no waves, just silence. But a sharp, playful opener? That's a firework in the night sky, something she can't help but notice. That is how to fall in love with the game of texting, by realizing it's not about typing words, it's about creating micro moments of emotion that pull her closer to you without her even realizing why. For example, instead of the dead end, hey, light her up with a line like, you won't believe what I just saw at Costco today. Immediately, her brain starts running. Was it something funny? Shocking? Embarrassing? She has to know. Or try. The most ridiculous thing happened at work. You've just dropped bait she can't ignore because her natural curiosity, the same female psychology that gets people hooked on endless true crime podcasts or keeps them glued to a TV drama at 2 a.m., demands closure. These psychology tricks work because the mind despises open loops, and when you dangle one, she's compelled to respond just to satisfy that craving for an ending. Another strategy? Paint her a picture she can step into. Text something like, this weather is insane. I just saw a guy walking his dog in shorts while it's snowing. Right away, she's chuckling, she's imagining the scene, and she's part of the story. Contrast that with, hey, which is nothing but a closed door with no key. Don't be the man who hands her boredom. Be the man who delivers energy. Be witty, be playful, be the guy who makes her day a little brighter. That is what women respond to. And here's the deeper truth. Women are flooded daily with attention. Compliments, emojis, bland greetings, they see it all. If you want to stand out, you must give her something worth answering. Think of your opener as a spark plug. Without it, the engine won't even turn over. With it, you ignite interest, laughter, curiosity, maybe even attraction. The psychology tricks here aren't complicated. They're about showing her you have a pulse, a personality, and something interesting to say. Female psychology thrives on anticipation, surprise, and engagement, not monotony. So don't hand her a flat soda when you could give her champagne. Don't waste your first impression on something she'll forget in 2 seconds. Be the man who sparks conversation, not the man who kills it before it starts. That is how to fall in love with the art of texting, by seeing it as your chance to stand out, to playfully disrupt her day, and to make her smile before she's even typed back. Drop the lazy, hey, burn it, bury it, erase it from your thumbs forever. If you truly want her attention, if you truly want to understand female psychology and use the psychology tricks that keep her hooked, you must step up and give her something worth leaning into. That's the difference between being ignored and being irresistible. Secret 2. Compliment like a gentleman, not a broken record. Let's be real for a second. Every woman has heard the phrase, "you're beautiful," more times than a Beatles song on repeat. It's not that she doesn't appreciate it, it's just white noise by now. Like elevator music. Predictable. Forgettable. If you want to stand out as a high value man, you must compliment differently. Compliment like a gentleman, not a broken record stuck on the same tired lyric. Be specific. Be creative. Be memorable. Women don't melt over lazy flattery. They melt when a man notices the details others overlook. That's when her heart does a double take. Instead of saying, "you're beautiful," try, "that color makes your eyes look like they belong on a movie poster." Your laugh could probably cure Monday blues. See the difference? Those lines don't sound like they came from a Hallmark card. They're vivid, playful, unique. They show attention, and attention is masculine energy at work. Go beyond looks. That's where the gold is. Listen, complimenting her looks is fine, but don't get stuck there. If you want to attract women, you need to go deeper. Praise her mind, her energy, her spark. That's where you win. Say things like, "the way you tell a story is dangerous. I could listen all day." Your energy makes the room feel lighter. Now you're not just noticing the obvious, you're acknowledging the essence of who she is. And believe me, that hits differently. Add humor, but do it smart. Humor is your secret weapon. It disarms. It charms. It makes your compliment unforgettable. Think about this one. That smile should come with a warning label. Highly addictive. It's cheeky. It's clever. And it sparks an emotion. That's the goal. You want your words to stick like a favorite song she can't get out of her head. Why this works? A broken record compliment flatters her looks. A gentleman's compliment makes her feel seen. Big difference. One is surface level. The other touches her identity. And when a woman feels truly seen, she associates that feeling with you. That's how a high-value man operates. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He leads with confidence, detail, and playfulness. That masculine energy? It's magnetic. It pulls her in without force. A quick story. Think of two men at a dinner party. Man A looks across the table and says, "You're gorgeous." She smiles politely, thanks him, and turns back to her drink. He'll be forgotten by dessert. Man B leans in and says, "The way you argue about movies should be illegal. I'm still laughing about it." She bursts into laughter, leans closer, and keeps the conversation alive. Guess who gets her number at the end of the night? Exactly. Don't overdo it. One last warning. Don't flood her with compliments like a salesman pitching cheap perfume. That's needy. That's desperate. And nothing kills attraction faster. Be deliberate. Be precise. One or two well-placed compliments beat 10 generic ones any day. Think sniper, not machine gun. If you want to attract women and keep them intrigued, remember, compliment like a gentleman. Specific. Creative. Genuine. A touch of humor for flavor. Don't repeat the same tired lines. Be the man who notices the shade of her laugh, the rhythm of her stories, the sparkle in her energy. That is how you separate yourself from the pack. Women crave a man who pays attention, who communicates with charm, who radiates masculine energy without even trying. Be that man. Compliments are not about buttering her up. They're about showing her you see what most men miss. That's how a high-value man turns simple words into unforgettable moments. Secret 3. Humor is your golden ticket. Your secret weapon, your ace in the hole. Because looks fade, money rises and falls, but the man who can make a woman laugh will always have the advantage, will always be remembered, will always stand apart, and that is not opinion. That is truth backed by both science and timeless wisdom. As Mark Twain once said, humor is mankind's greatest blessing, and he was right, because when you make her laugh, you are not just entertaining her, you are connecting with her, planting yourself in her memory, anchoring yourself in her emotions. And that is power. Don't underestimate it. Don't ignore it. Don't make the mistake most men make by playing it safe with boring, lifeless texts like, "What are you doing?" Instead, show creativity, show wit, show playfulness, because a clever line like, "I just tried to make a smoothie and ended up with something that tastes like lawn clippings. Should I call 911?" makes her smile, makes her react, makes her see you as different from every other man in her inbox. And in a modern world flooded with noise, being different is survival. Let's be clear, humor is not clowning around. It's not being crude or desperate. It's knowing how to lighten the conversation, how to disarm with charm, how to make her feel alive. Because when she laughs, her brain releases dopamine, the same chemical tied to pleasure and reward, and suddenly she associates that pleasure with you. That is leverage. That is psychology in action. That is the iron mind approach, using old Stoic wisdom to understand that you cannot control her feelings directly, but you can control the atmosphere you create, and humor is the atmosphere that wins. Stoicism win means mastering your delivery, not chasing approval, but instead radiating confidence, playfulness, and control, because as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events and when you bring laughter. You are shaping her experience of you without ever begging for it. Don't cross the line. Don't try to be dirty. Don't try to shock, because that weakens you, that reduces your power, that makes you forgettable. Keep it clever, keep it flirty, keep it light, like saying, "Careful with yoga. If you twist yourself into a pretzel, I'm not trained to untangle you," which is playful, respectful, and memorable. In today's fast paced world where women scroll through endless messages, your humor makes you the pause, the break, the smile in her day, and that small victory builds momentum because each laugh is a step closer to trust, attraction, and desire. Remember, most men never figure this out. They chase with gifts, with status, with empty compliments, and they lose. While the man with the iron mind who applies humor strategically becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. Don't be afraid to test lines. Don't be afraid to fail, because every attempt sharpens your skill, and mastery is built through practice, through courage, through persistence. Let's not forget what Nietzsche said: invisible threads are the strongest ties, and humor is one of those invisible threads pulling her closer, binding her to the feeling she gets with you. So, commit to it. Use it wisely. Use it boldly. Let old Stoic wisdom remind you that control lies in your actions, not her reactions, and with humor as your golden ticket, you step into the arena not as another man, but as the man who stands tall, the man who wins, the man who knows that laughter is the shortest distance between two souls. Don't settle for ordinary. Don't text like the masses. Don't waste the chance. Humor is not an option, it is a necessity. It is the weapon of men who refuse to be forgotten. It is the hallmark of the iron mind. It is the Stoicism win in the battlefield of modern love. Master it, repeat it, live it, and watch her world bend toward you. If you find this valuable, like, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember, I make people smile with my humor. Secret 4. Tell stories, don't conduct interrogations. You're not the night shift at the FBI. You're the most interesting man in her messages, so stop firing off. Where are you? Did you eat? What time will you be home? And start sending lines that breathe. That is the difference between a clipboard and a conversation, between a man she tolerates and a man she remembers. Be a narrator, not a hall monitor. You must replace checklists with moments. Because in female psychology, stories carry warmth, status, and safety, and those are the real psychology tricks that turn a cold screen into a live wire. Think small, think vivid, think human. Tried to make pasta, created smoke art, my. Alarm took a bow, and suddenly she's smiling, picturing you, leaning in. Don't ask, did you eat dinner? When you can say, my steak fought back, I lost on points, and I'm accepting coaching tips, which opens the door for her to tease, advise, and, most importantly, join. That is how to fall in love over time, micro scene by micro scene. Not with interrogation lamps, but with tiny, funny windows into your world. You've lived a life. Use it. The guys in your age bracket have vaults of gold and keep texting like the vault is empty. Dust off the stories that built your scar tissue and your sense of humor. Keep them short, clean, and true. Wore two different shoes to a meeting today. The CEO noticed before I did. Please tell me you've done worse is an invite, not a demand. It's self-deprecating without self-destruction. It signals confidence because you can laugh at yourself. Don't overshare your tax returns or trauma files. Be light, be crisp, be specific. Add sensory details that pop. Smell the gasoline at the old racetrack. Hear the squeak of the grocery cart with the broken wheel. Taste the salsa that almost won a custody battle with your taste buds. These micro details are psychology tricks because they trigger memory and emotion without pressure. Ask fewer closed questions and drop open loops instead. Remind me to tell you about the golden retriever who tried to adopt me at lunch and leave space. The space invites her in. You must respect pace. Don't blow up her phone like a siren. One colorful note beats five gray pings. That is contrast. That is charm. Mirror her energy without copying her voice. Then lead with your tone. If she sends a busy day sigh, reply with a mini scene that lifts. Ran into a street violinist who made my coffee taste like Paris. Voting we steal that mood tonight. And you've shifted the weather without an interrogation. Callbacks are your friend. If she once said she loves road trips, later send. Past a map shop and almost bought us trouble. What's your rule on detours? That's how to fall in love through. Continuity, not intensity. You're building a thread, not a questionnaire. Don't default to logistics. Logistics kill romance when they show up uninvited. Tuck them at the end. Never the headline. Headline the feeling. Follow with the plan. Be curious about her without prying. Swap, do you like movies? For I walked out of a film once because the popcorn beat the plot. What's your standard for staying? Now she has a stage, not a checkbox. When you do ask a question, make it playful, answerable, and about meaning, not surveillance. You must show vulnerability with edges. Admit small losses, celebrate small wins, keep the hero cape in the closet. Try voice notes sparingly. A warm 10 seconds with a smiling cadence can do more than a block of text. Time your stories. Morning gets light. Hopeful beats. Afternoon gets quick jabs. Late night gets softer threads with a wink. In female psychology, rhythm matters because attention is a living thing. End some messages with an easy handoff, like your turn, top kitchen fail, or best last minute victory. That's consent-based chemistry. Don't send monologues. Leave white space for her words. That is partnership. When she shares, reward it. Pick one specific detail and echo it back later, note to self. You versus cinnamon rolls as pay. Preview I'd buy, and you've shown you listen, which is the ultimate psychology trick disguised as basic respect. Weave in purpose without preaching. Tried a new route home to break the autopilot. Found a bakery I can't be trusted near. Shows mindset and motion. It says you're alive to your day, which is contagious. If you want to practice how to fall in love through text, practice how to make her day feel brighter after 2 lines. You must keep your messages easy to reply to. Avoid heavy. Sarcasm walls and political trench warfare. Be generous, not performative. Never negging, always nudging. Lead with a spark, close with a smile. Example to steal tonight. Accidentally bought the world's loudest cereal. Neighbors filed a noise complaint. I'm negotiating with milk. What's your breakfast defense strategy? Example to steal tomorrow. Found an old photo of me with a mullet and unearned confidence. I'm brave enough to show you if you're brave. Secret 5. Mystery makes you magnetic. Let me give it to you straight. If you unload your entire autobiography in one text, you've just killed the suspense. Done. Finished. No fireworks, no intrigue, just flat silence. Women don't crave a complete download of your daily schedule or every thought that runs through your head. What they want is the thrill of discovery. That's why the men who master the art of holding back, of keeping a little tucked away, are the ones who stand out. Think of it like fishing. The bait is the curiosity you dangle in front of her. The hook? That's you, your charm, your masculine energy, your ability to make her wonder, who is this guy and why do I want to know more? Don't spill it all at once. Here's the truth. Dumping your entire life story in one message screams insecurity. It tells her you're desperate for validation. A high value man doesn't do that. He doesn't need to. Instead, he sprinkles just enough to spark curiosity. Drop a line like, I had the weirdest encounter today. Remind me to tell you later. That's it. That one sentence will light her imagination on fire. Suddenly, she's asking herself, what happened? Who did he meet? Why is he making me wait? That little delay isn't a weakness. It's strategy. You've just created anticipation, the kind that keeps her checking her phone and leaning in closer. The movie trailer effect. You wouldn't buy a movie ticket if the trailer showed you every twist, the villain's secret plan, and the ending, right? Of course not. You buy the ticket because the trailer teases you, makes you restless, makes you say, I've got to see the rest. Texting works the same way. Give her a preview, not the whole script. Be the blockbuster, not the boring documentary she scrolls past. Women love a man with layers. They want to feel like every conversation uncovers a new chapter. Mystery is the oxygen of attraction. Without it, the fire dies. Be unpredictable, not unreliable. Now, don't twist this. Mystery isn't about being flaky or playing cold games. That kills trust, and trust is the bedrock of attraction. What you must do is stay unpredictable in the best way. Share something unexpected. Drop a curious hint. Then let her stew on it for a bit. That balance between openness and restraint creates magnetism she can't resist. It's like a fine whiskey. You don't chug it down in one gulp. You sip. You savor. You enjoy the mystery of each layer as it unfolds. Why mystery works on women's psychology? Here's where it gets serious. Human brains are wired to chase what they don't fully understand. It's the Zygarnik effect. We remember incomplete things better than completed ones. When you leave her with half a story, her brain can't rest. She needs closure. That's why she stays engaged. That's why she keeps texting you back. Men who overshare? Forgettable. Men who leave breadcrumbs? Unstoppable. That is the difference between being just another guy and being the man who commands attention without begging for it. The masculine energy advantage. A man who embraces mystery radiates confidence. He doesn't need to prove himself with endless paragraphs. He knows his worth. He knows he's a high-value man. And guess what? That energy is irresistible. When you hold back, you project control. You project strength. You project the kind of masculine energy that makes women lean forward instead of back. Don't underestimate it. Mystery is not a gimmick, it's a weapon. Use it well, and you'll attract women in a way most men never figure out. Final word. Be the novel she can't put down. Don't be the instruction manual she schemes once and tosses aside. Be the page-turner. The gripping novel. The story she doesn't want to end. Text with intrigue. Drop hints. Withhold the punchline. Make her curious. Make her chase. Because when you become a man who balances honesty with mystery, who keeps a little tucked away, who knows the power of suspense, you're no longer just texting. You're seducing. That is what makes you magnetic. That is how you become unforgettable. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comments section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. Secret 6, know when to hit pause. Don't chase. Don't double text. Don't let your phone dictate your power. Every time you fire off another message after silence, you chip away at your authority. You turn from a man of iron mind into a boy seeking approval. Stop. Breathe. Let the silence work for you. This is strategic silence, and it's rooted in Old Stoic wisdom. Control what you can, release what you can't. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The same law applies to texting. When she doesn't reply, don't crumble. Don't panic. Don't spiral. Instead, hold the line. Show that your time matters. Show that your life is full. Women are irresistibly drawn to men who live by their own rhythm, not men glued to a glowing screen. Send one clever closing line, then step back. For example, "All right, I'll let you go before we start solving world peace over text." That's confidence. That's control. That's Stoicism win. It says, "I'm not desperate, I'm not chasing, and I won't hand you my power. Paradoxically, the less you push, the more she leans in. Strategic silence is the weapon most men never master, yet it separates the forgettable from the unforgettable. In modern life, where everyone is chained to notifications, restraint is a superpower. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. It's discipline. It's the art of letting her curiosity grow in the space you create. Old Stoic wisdom teaches that battles are won not by frantic motion, but by calculated restraint. This is how you forge the iron mind that makes you unshakable. Think of it this way: every text you don't send is a statement of power. Every pause is a test of patience. Every delay is a declaration that you are in control of your own kingdom. Don't be the man who suffocates with too much attention. Be the man who commands attention by giving less. Don't just exist in her inbox. Exist in her mind. Give her room to wonder, to miss, to crave your next move. As Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Master yourself and you master the game. You must adopt the mindset of a warrior, not a beggar. Don't let desire weaken your discipline. Don't let fear of silence push you into foolish chatter. Let's be clear, attraction thrives in tension, not in overexposure. That is why the pause is your ally. That is why the silence is your power. That is why old Stoic wisdom still crushes modern weakness. Remember, texting is not about constant pursuit. It's about timing, rhythm, and control. Don't spam. Don't plead. Don't explain. Instead, cut clean. Step away. Let the echo of your last confident words linger. That's how you stand out in a sea of men who text like amateurs. That's how you win with Stoicism win. That's how you build an iron mind that no silence can shake. Men who grasp this principle don't just get replies, they get respect, they get curiosity, they get attraction that deepens instead of fades. So from this moment, burn it into your brain. Don't chase. Don't flood. Don't fear the pause. Embrace it. Use it. Roll with it. Because when you learn to master silence, you don't just master texting, you master yourself, and that mastery is the ultimate victory. Secret 7. Flirting. Subtlety is the real power. Flirting, but not the way most men think of it. Don't overdo it, don't come on too strong, and don't assume it has to be creepy. Subtlety is the real power here, and if you learn how to master it, you'll unlock one of the best psychology tricks in female psychology. Most older guys avoid flirting because they fear it makes them look desperate or foolish, but the truth is, when done correctly, flirting is playful, magnetic, and impossible to resist. It's not about laying on cheesy compliments or trying to impress her with lines that sound like they came from a bad movie. That is the mistake amateurs make. Instead, you must aim for lighthearted banter that teases just enough to create connection. For example, if she tells you she's having a salad, don't say something awkward like, "That's sexy." Instead, you lean into charm and humor. "Good. That means you're the healthy half of this duo. I'll take care of the pizza duties." See what happened there? You didn't objectify her. You didn't put her on the spot. You created a team dynamic, a we're in this together moment that makes her feel comfortable and special. That is how to fall in love step by building shared experiences even through small conversations. Think of flirting like salt in cooking. A little pinch enhances everything. Dumping the whole shaker ruins the meal. The same goes for your texts. Tease, play, but never overwhelm. Don't turn it into a comedy show where you're trying too hard, and don't turn it into an interrogation where you're demanding attention. Be casual, be witty, and above all, be balanced. Women respond to men who know how to highlight their feminine energy without pushing too far. When you flirt with subtlety, she feels desired but not pressured, admired but not objectified, connected but still free. That balance is the sweet spot most men never figure out. Psychology tricks like this are powerful because they tap into deep female psychology, the need to feel both safe and desired at the same time. Too many men either go silent and boring, or they jump the gun and go overboard. Both kill attraction instantly. Don't fall into those traps. Be the guy who knows how to sprinkle charm instead of drowning her in it. Make her laugh without turning into a clown. Give her attention without suffocating her. Challenge her playfully, but always let her win the dance. That is real flirting, the kind that makes her think about you when she puts her phone down, the kind that lingers in her mind long after the conversation ends. You must understand this isn't about manipulation, it's about rhythm, timing, and energy. When you flirt with finesse, you're not just chatting, you're weaving a little story, a spark, an emotional hook that makes her curious about what you'll say next. And curiosity, my friend, is the gateway to attraction. You want her leaning forward, not leaning away. Subtlety keeps her leaning in. So don't be afraid of flirting. Be afraid of not flirting at all. Because when you ignore this skill, you blend into the background as just another nice guy who texts like a weather forecast, predictable and dull. But when you master subtle flirting, you become the man who stands out, the man she feels excited to reply to. The man who understands how to fall in love is less about declarations and more about micro moments that build intimacy. That's the essence of female psychology. Women are not won over by big gestures alone, but by the small, consistent feelings you give them along the way. The salad and pizza line. It's not about food, it's about chemistry, playfulness, and creating an us instead of just a me and you. That's the kind of energy women can't resist. Learn this, live this, and never forget, the sharpest weapon you have in texting isn't blunt force, it's subtlety. If you understand that subtle flirting is about charm, not creepiness, you're already ahead of the game. Most men will never figure this out. To lock it in, drop this in the comments. I master the power of subtle flirting. Secret 8. Emojis, less is more. Emojis are like salt. The right sprinkle makes the dish sing. Too much, and you've ruined the steak. Texting women works the same way. A single well-placed emoji can breathe life into your words. But drowning your message in yellow faces and dancing hearts? That screams desperation, not attraction. Be wise. Be intentional. Don't let little cartoon icons sabotage your masculine energy. The power of one emoji. Think of an emoji as the exclamation point of modern flirting. One can completely shift the tone without you having to explain yourself. Example, that was risky, versus that was risky. Winking face, the first sounds like a lecture. The second? That's playful, flirty. It keeps the spark alive without a single extra word. That's how a high-value man communicates, subtle, confident, never overdoing it. The trap of overuse. Here's the ugly truth. If you're firing off 12 heart emojis in a row, she's not swooning. She's rolling her eyes. To her, it doesn't scream passion. It screams teenage nephew who just discovered texting. Don't fall into that trap. You must look like the man who knows his worth, not the man who hides behind emojis because he can't form a sentence. Women want a man who can lead with his words, not his emoji keyboard. Why less is more? One emoji is a spice, 10 is a flood, and floods destroy everything in their path. Don't dilute your masculine energy by cluttering your texts with rainbow hearts, laughing faces, and random food icons. That's not how you attract women. That's how you entertain your buddies in the group chat. You want her to see you as a man who knows control, who knows timing. A man who chooses one well-placed wink over 20 unnecessary emojis. That restraint is power. That restraint is attractive. The psychology behind it. Here's where it gets deeper. Women don't just read your words, they read between your words. Every extra emoji sends her a subconscious signal. Too many? You're trying too hard. You're seeking approval. You're begging for attention. That's the opposite of what a high-value man does. A high-value man doesn't beg. He doesn't flood her phone with neon icons. He lets his words carry weight, and he uses one, maybe two emojis to underline the tone. That's it. Psychology proves it. People value what is scarce. Make emojis scarce, and they'll have more impact. A man in control. Think about James Bond. Do you see him texting 12 kissy faces and 3 rows of hard eyes? Of course not. Bond would send one sharp line, maybe add a smirk emoji, and leave it at that. Women crave that kind of masculine energy. Calm, controlled, confident. You must be that man. The man who knows that every little choice, Even the number of emojis broadcasts who he is. Final rule of thumb: use emojis like you'd use cologne. A dab behind the ear? Perfect. A full bottle dumped on your shirt? She'll choke. So here's your law: 1 emoji adds charm. 2, if you really need it, adds clarity. 10 makes you look like you just discovered the internet. Be disciplined. Be sharp. And always remember, the man who knows how to attract women doesn't need to hide behind a wall of emojis. He knows his words, his presence, and his masculine energy do the heavy lifting. Bottom line, emojis are tools, not crutches. Use them wisely, sparingly, and with purpose. That is how you show her you're not just another guy. You're a high-value man. Secret 9. Always end with a hook. Is simple but lethal. Always end with a hook, never with dead air, never with okay good night. That's weak, that's flat, that's like shutting the door in her face. Don't kill the momentum. Don't let the story die. You must leave her leaning forward, waiting, curious, smiling at her phone, ready for round 2. That is how you control the rhythm of connection. That is how you write the next chapter before this one even ends. A line like, "All right, I'll let you sleep, but tomorrow I need your official verdict, pancakes or waffles," isn't childish, it's powerful. It's playful, it's bait, it's a seed planted in her mind that grows overnight. She goes to sleep with you still in her head. She wakes up with you already in the conversation. That is the essence of old Stoic wisdom applied to texting. Never leave a dialogue closed. Always leave the next door cracked open. The Roman philosopher Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." This is preparation. You're preparing tomorrow's opportunity tonight. Hooks keep the flame alive. They transform your words into a living, breathing storyline instead of disconnected fragments. Women crave story. They crave continuity. They crave a man who makes them feel like the conversation has no ending, only pauses. And in modern life, where everyone is distracted, scrolling, half present, you must be the one who stands out by weaving a thread she doesn't want to drop. Don't fade into background noise. Don't be another notification. Be the chapter she doesn't want to put down. Hooks do that. They make her chase the answer. They make her anticipate your return. And anticipation is half the game. The great Dale Carnegie once said, "Talk to someone about themselves and they'll listen for hours." When you drop a hook like the pancake versus waffle challenge, you're not talking about yourself, you're inviting her into the play. You're giving her an easy win, a reason to engage. That is influence. That is mastery. That is Stoicism win, because the iron mind doesn't chase validation, it creates gravity. You are not begging for her attention, you're making her want to give it. And let's be clear, this is not about manipulation. It's about leadership. It's about clarity. It's about building momentum and refusing to let attraction stall out. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us endurance, and endurance in texting means pacing the story so it never collapses into silence. In a world of instant gratification, your job is to be the man who understands delayed reward. The hook today creates the victory tomorrow. You must practice this discipline relentlessly. Don't settle for average. Don't fall into lazy exits. Don't let a woman walk away from the screen without something tugging at her to return. Every conversation is a battlefield, and your weapon is curiosity. Your tone is strength. Your secret is timing. When you end with a hook, you end with power, not passivity. You leave her wanting, not waiting. You write the rules, not follow them. That is iron mind in action. That is Stoicism win in modern romance. That is mastery of psychology that most men never figure out. So remember, don't slam the door, leave it ajar. Don't cut the thread, weave it tighter. Don't stop the story, carry it forward. The man who ends with a hook doesn't just text, he commands attention. He controls momentum. He wins the game before the next round even begins. And that, gentlemen, is how you stop being ordinary and start being unforgettable. All right, fellas, let's bring it home. At the end of the day, texting isn't about typing the perfect message. It's about sparking curiosity, giving her that little rush of laughter, and making her feel genuinely noticed. Remember this: curiosity keeps her hooked. Compliments make her glow. Humor makes her crave more. Restraint makes you unforgettable. If you stick to these 9 secrets, you'll stop overthinking texts and start enjoying the process. My advice? Don't treat texting like a chess match. Treat it like a dance. Be playful, be light, and let the conversation flow. That's what makes her want to hear from you again and again. So, if you found this breakdown helpful, do 3 simple things right now. 1. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next round of powerful tricks. 2. Drop a comment below saying, I want more secrets, so I know you're ready for the next level. 3. Ring that bell icon because the next video will take your texting from pretty good to legendary. Thanks for hanging out with me today, gentlemen. Keep it smooth, keep it fun, and I'll see you in the next one.